Tyreek Hill is getting taken to the cleaners by his ex-wife. What is it about these men who come into money that they get so caught up in these women that they may not know? I'm trying to be nice here. A woman who would probably not give him the time of day, but as soon as these fools come into a bit of money, a whole lot of money, they don't realize how much of a target they become. Now, I admit, I don't follow football, I don't follow basketball, I don't follow baseball. All I follow, really, is boxing and bodybuilding, because I used to be a competitive bodybuilder many decades ago. But when I see headlines like this, and I'm not here to report a story as far as a timeline and every incident, but I did a little digging. But this is something very similar. At the end of the day, you have white women, white-looking women, women who are other than who you are. And admittedly, and we all could admit, you do have some black women who are gold diggers. I can't tell you the proportion or the percentage, but you are a target by everybody. If you are a little light in the loafers and have a little sugar in your tank, you got some of those out there too, looking to come at you, to extort you for money. But this is ridiculous. Now, I'm gonna read off what caught my eye, and I'm gonna make a few comments in this laid-back rant. For those who don't know, because I didn't know. I'm just finding out who the brother is, but the angle of what I saw, this happens too much. Women who get with you because of the money that you have, and you're even more stupid if, and they say these are allegations, innocent until proven guilty, if you put your hands on them. That's the part that will really cement the deal. Maybe they provoked you, I don't know. Maybe you got roid rage, I don't know. Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill's marriage to Keeta Vaccaro lasted just 17 months before she filed for divorce in April of 2025. One day after police responded to their home over a reported domestic dispute. What followed has become one of the most financially staggering divorce proceedings in NFL history. Court documents reveal that Hill was ordered to pay Vaccaro between $20,000 and $50,000 per month in support. A $500,000 lump sum payment, $100,000 toward a new vehicle, and $517,000 to cover her legal fees. She was also granted exclusive use of their $5.5 million Miami waterfront condo, while Hill remains responsible for the mortgage, utilities, insurance, and property taxes. Vaccaro had also requested access to Hill's debit card and his $200,000 Bentley. But the judge denied both requests. Well, after all that, I mean, what does she want? His soul? She pretty much has it. Hill claimed he cut off her card access after discovering she had used it to pay off student loans and transfer money to her mother. Vaccaro has alleged in court filings that Hill was physically violent on multiple occasions during their marriage, claims Hill has denied. The The financial fallout comes at a particularly difficult time for Hill, who was released by the Dolphins earlier this year, leaving the team with a $28.2 million dead cap hit. With no prenuptial agreement in place, the case has become a cautionary tale across social media and a reminder that for high-earning athletes, what happens off the field can be just as costly as anything that happens on it. The final settlement has yet to be determined, and legal experts say that the total could climb even higher. Whoa. Like, you gotta have some good people around you to vet the people who come around you when you're on that level of earning, which I don't want to see this happen to the brother, but in the midst of all of this, he was released from the Dolphins. So where are you going to get that kind of money to maintain a lifestyle like that, which in fact, when you make that kind of money, that's life-changing money. You don't know if you're going to continue to make this money, especially in a sport where you get injuries and things can change overnight. You need to set yourself and think for the long term. Why? Why would you have a place to live that costs so much and costs so much to maintain? Why? A $5.5 million Miami waterfront condo. Are you going to be making this same money 20 years from now? No. Maybe you will if you were smart. Maybe you would if you were smart. Financial literacy? Number one, you can't pick up a person and get with them on the promise of love or commitment or even lust. Look what happened. And this is not just for high-price earners. You have women out here who, and let me say this before you say it, if he put his hands on her and abused her, no matter what her motives were, he's wrong. And a lot of times these women can provoke you to do such things. But in my digging up a little bit of history, which I didn't want to take too much time on this, I just wanted to say, basically, when you're making money, you're a target. And there's another level to this that I want to speak about, but I found out about a person named Sophie Hall and how he faced a high-profile civil lawsuit from a social media influencer, Sophie Hall, who claimed Hill broke her leg during an aggressive drill at his mansion. The time of this, I don't know. I'm just bringing this up, that if this is true, then he has a history of aggressions toward women, if this is true. But the resolution was Hill and Hall reached a confidential, out-of-court settlement, with Hall dropping assault and battery claims as the negligence suit concluded. Okay, so either he wanted it to go away and not cost him more money, or either he was guilty and said, hey, I'll hit you off, just drop it, and we're doing this out of court. It doesn't look right, though. And with this particular case, Keeta Vaccaro filed for divorce from the Miami Dolphins wide receiver, unsealing court documents detailing 8 separate allegations of domestic abuse that allegedly occurred during their marriage and pregnancies. Court filings accused Hill of physical altercations, including spitting in her face, pulling her hair, and throwing her to the ground. If this is true, you did it to yourself, brother. I mean, yeah. Look at what she did. Took his funds and paid off student loans and transferred money to her mother. Is this a happy marriage? Or maybe she was abused and said, "Oh, this is it." Maybe she wasn't a gold digger and said, "Let me just get a little something out of this and pay off my bills." But it doesn't look good on her part either. It doesn't look good on both of their parts. Maybe they're made for each other. Now, this may not be the case, but let me speak about an aspect of, and I'm going to say it, the big black buck mentality. You're out there on the plantation, working hard from can't see morning to can't see night, and you see the slave master's daughter. You see the slave master's wife, and you can't stare at them too long now because they're going to accuse you of some type of violation. But for some reason, your beautiful sisters who are toiling alongside you, your beautiful sisters, the women you have who are there with you, suffering with you, understanding your pain, they're on a lower grade. Deep down, you want that white flesh of Missy Ann, the slave master's wife, or her daughter. You better not get caught looking or glancing anywhere near with your peripheral vision at her ankle. You better not stare too long. You better put your head down and look down toward the ground in their presence. You can't have that slave master observing you gawking and lusting after that precious white flesh. And you don't want that daughter or that wife of the slave master to feel violated by your gaze. Even though we know when the slave master goes away, his wife might be looking out the window at the field, and you might have had to relieve yourself by a tree, and she's so caught up on the length and the girth of what she sees. She's so caught up in the length and the girth of what she sees and what she doesn't enjoy in her own bedroom. So when the slave master's gone, she summons you to her bedroom quarters. And you know you shouldn't be alone in there with her, but she tells you, if you don't give her what she wants, she's gonna say that you RAPE'd her. So now you're between a wall and a hard place. But then again, the hard place becomes what she wants, and she gets it. But at the end of the day, if any one of those other slaves notice this and tells, well, she's gonna throw you under the bus, and you got a rope waiting for you in a lynching or some kind of other form of buck breaking. So, what is it about black men? What is it about black men that they value? And I'm not saying all, but those types, whether it's publicly or secretly. They secretly worship and value this flesh. All you gotta do is flirt with the man. Talk to him nice, get next to him. Let him sniff your hairline and the pheromones that are sulfur-based. See, his copper-based body, sniff this thing and it's something different. Huh? That's a little deep for some people, so you can go research that. But it's a lust because it's not just that he likes the person. In some cases, they do, or they claim they do in those situations where there's a blending of contrasting skin tones, and many get off on that. For many men to find themselves inside the garden, and I'm keeping it decent, inside the garden of the white woman and spraying her plants, spraying her eggs. He now feels that he's made it, not because he had so much money from the Dolphins, but he got him a white woman. And now he can parade this woman around his peers to say, I've made it. I've got my white card. Many think that, but they don't understand that it doesn't change anything. Also, from what I've heard and what I can see and what I know with most sports, even as the contract is being signed and is broadcast all over the media, you have a troop of women who are getting it ready. Well, hell, you got some 304s who are getting it ready when a celebrity comes into town or a performer to have a concert. They got websites out from years ago to hip you to this information that when a celebrity is in town, this is the hotel that he will be at. I mean, look, from way back in the day, if Mike Tyson, when he was at the height of his earning abilities and popularity back in the 80s, when he went to Tokyo, Japan to fight Buster Douglas, he said that there were a bunch of Japanese women at the airport waiting for him. So many of us can't even understand what this level is all about. But Tyreek Hill was not on the Mike Tyson level. But yes, most of us would love to have the money that he had to earn these things. But what about the psychology behind it? How some of these women, if this is the case, know how to get next to a man like this. He's intoxicated because he can buy the Bentley and he can get the Miami condo, waterfront, and whatever else. Do you think he was budgeting his money? His crumbs were paying off the bills of his ex-wife's mother. She got his cards and used it for that. What else was she using it for? How much did she sock away? And she's going to get all of this and it might go higher? All because I would say, brother, I don't know you. I can't really comment on a lot of things, but from the way it looks, you straight stupid. You should know the playbook. You know when you make a plan on the football field on how you're going to execute your moves to make that touchdown, you follow that to a T. But you need somebody to pull you to the side and not be a yes man and tell you the deal about life to protect you and how you can be manipulated. Sperm hitting egg. Women who do things to you in the bedroom that blow your mind, and it's something you fantasized about for so long, so your mind is blown. And now, you're no different than that big black buck fantasizing about getting him some white flesh. And you know what? While you may not pay with your life being ended, really and truly, this is somewhat of an equivalent to have made so much money to enjoy life on a certain level. And pretty soon, and I'm not wishing it on you, you're going to end up with nothing, brother. All because of this situation. Why can't many of our brothers stay connected with the sisters that they knew long before, who may have supported them, who understand what you went through to attain your wealth, and stick by you as long as you stick by them and don't abuse them? Why can't you find an around-the-way girl as opposed to these white women that they sick on you even when you're in college and have the promise to have a professional career that's going to make you a lot of money? And here comes the cleavage. Here comes the backside and the thighs and them getting on their knees in front of you with the door locked, 2 and 3 of them. And we're not talking about they're getting on their knees to pray. Oh, they're getting on their knees to pray you. P-R-E-Y. You are pray. They ain't praying. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Get you caught up and roped up. And this happens on all levels. It happens with the dude who's working at McDonald's. Really? You think not? And there's some chick who doesn't have any money at all and no place to stay, and he's struggling to make ends meet, and so she wants to play him. And again, I'm not saying all women are gold diggers. Don't think that. Don't suggest that. But in this case, this is one of those cases. No matter how you slice it. No matter how you slice it. Brothers, you got to get your head together. Anybody can be a gold digger. Anybody, any woman of any race can take you to the cleaners. But this is happening far too many times. Tiger Woods, Tyreek Hill. In the comment section, I want to hear all of the situations because I don't follow football and basketball and baseball. I don't care what kind of sport it is. You could be an entertainer. These situations happen too much. Let's continue the discussion and let me know, educate me as to the situations that have happened in a very similar manner. But this, they say, is historic. That's a lot of money. All I can say, vet who's around you, control yourself, and don't let it happen to you. That's all I can say. Much love to you all. LanceScurv out. On to the next one. Peace.